Good morning. Buenos dias from Miami, Florida. This is Coach Mario from Warriors Pride Boxing Academy with another episode from Inside the Ropes with Coach Mario. Good morning, guys. It's a beautiful Monday morning here in Miami, Florida, and it's a really nice day. Sunny. I'm a little bit uh, blinded by the light, by the sunshine. It's really intense this morning. Anyway, guys, as you well know, I went to Madison Square Garden this past weekend. Just got back yesterday from a flight to New York City to watch the Taylor Serrano fight. And we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that and my impressions and my opinions on that fight and what transpired during this great event, historic event at Madison Square Garden. So my wife and I flew there on Friday, and we made it back to the hotel. We were able to get together in the evening with some friends with my boys. Shout out to my boy over there, Hector Cruz, the Rooster King, Raja Khan. Shout out to Hector and Myrna. We had a blast with them. We had a really good time. They showed us around the city. I haven't been in New York for a while. We had breakfast with them Saturday morning. They came to pick us up at the hotel, and we drove around a little bit. Went to Bronxville and went to some of the shops there. Uh, then later on, we went to a Puerto Rican restaurant over there called Salsa Bembe. I believe that is the name. But anyway, the food was great. The company was great. We laughed a lot. We actually were reminiscing about our times in Puerto Rico when we were growing up. My childhood buddy, Hector Cruz, he was one hell of a wrestler, Olympic wrestler. Now he's a professor at in a school in New York, and he's about to retire. So he's done a lot of work over there. Great guy, man. We laughed a lot, have a great time. But anyway, shout out to you guys. Thank you very much, and you're welcome to come back to Miami next time to get together. It would be great to have you guys here. Well, anyway, to go a little bit about the fight now. Let's talk about that evening. All right, we were driven. We were taken by Hector and his girlfriend. Sorry about, you know, I'm kind of winking there. It's the light. It's really, really hard out here. But anyway, we were driven by Hector and his girlfriend. We were driven to Madison Square Garden. There's a lot of people there. When we got there, there weren't too many people, but the atmosphere, you could tell it was building up for this great historic event, which in the history of Square Garden over 100 years, it's the first time in the history of the sport and the history of Madison Square Garden that a all-female championship fight, a main event, is held as a main event at Madison Square Garden. All right. As you well know, Katie Taylor, the champion at 135, the undisputed champion, was challenged by Amanda Serrano, who jumped up two weight classes from 126 to 135 to challenge her. Everybody's been waiting for this fight. I actually made a comment about it. Sorry. I made a comment about this on my previous episode about how this fight was going to transpire. I gave my honest opinion, and I was right and wrong, and I'll tell you why. I'm not taking defeat that easily. All right, so again, the atmosphere was great. We had a couple sitting next to us that were spending their honeymoon in New York, and they were from Britain. All right, they were from the United Kingdom. They came all the way over to see the fight. So I mean, great fans. I mean, the Irish and the British fans are unbelievable fans. One of the best in the world. There's a lot of Puerto Ricans there, but we were outnumbered. I mean, the Hispanic crowd was outnumbered big time by the Irish fans, and they know how to have a good time. You know, Sweet Caroline singing and everything. We had the cameraman came was panning around the crowd, and people were throwing punches and coming out in the big screen, and they came around our area. My wife got up, Julia got up, and she started throwing combinations and whatnot. And then I got up and I started showing my stuff. It was fun. It was real fun. It was cool. I mean, it was one hell of an experience. Like I said, my bucket list. It was on my bucket list. I finally was able to attend a championship fight at Madison Square Garden. So that was awesome. Okay, let's go over the fights. I'm not gonna go over the undercard. That would be a whole different subject. But the main event, I'm gonna talk about the main event real quick. I don't want to make this video too long. I got things to do today. It's Monday. I gotta get back to training people today, and I don't have too much time. But anyway, Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor came down. They did their walkthrough. I mean, they looked like they were really focused. Both of them. Amanda looked like really uh, more happier, I would say, more jovial on her way down to the ring. Katie Taylor looked like she was more concentrated, more focused on her way down to the ring, and it erupted. The whole place erupted. By that time, the whole place was packed. I mean, there was not one seat available. It was unbelievable, completely packed. The atmosphere was awesome. I mean, I have goosebumps right now just thinking about it. How unbelievable! I was just looking around at the Irish flags, the Puerto Rican flags, and they're walking down to the ring, and I'm like, oh wow, this is gonna be great. And I was right. I mean, everybody was right. Everybody that was there was treated to a once in a lifetime event, and hopefully it's gonna be two or three times. I hope. Um, and you know, the fight started. I believe that Amanda Serrano and Taylor were feeling each other out in the beginning of the fight. Amanda Serrano as the effective aggressor, trying to get close to Taylor, which is known more of as a boxer, a skillful boxer, a very crafty boxer. And Amanda Serrano was able to get to her with a couple of body shots, really hard shots. She was throwing really hard shots. And in the fifth round, Amanda hurt really badly Katie Taylor and almost knocked her out. I mean, she battered her. I mean, I think it was like, I don't remember how many punches Amanda threw in that round, but it was I actually was, yeah, we were screaming and everything, and the Irish fans around us were really quiet, but it was a battering. It was like I said, well, this is it. I mean, there's no way Taylor is going to be able to get over that. I mean, you could tell the power was with Amanda, and she hurt her with uppercuts. She hurt her with body shots. I mean, she was like, I mean, if this would have been 3 minutes like Amanda wanted, if this fight would have been 3 minute rounds, I'm sure Katie Taylor would have not survived the fifth round. She would have been knocked out. All right. So Taylor is a big, strong girl. She was able to take on the assault from Serrano and made adjustments and started boxing a little bit more. I believe that, and things that I haven't heard um, on any commentaries on the news or TV or anybody has mentioned it, but there was a lot of holding by Taylor. When Amanda would get close, Taylor would hold and push her and use her body weight. And there was not even one time where the referee, called her on it. But besides that, it was a back and forth fight for the rest of the fight, or the rest of the rounds. I believe that Katie Taylor was able to start piling on some points. They were really close rounds, so it could have gone either way. The seventh, eighth, ninth round, uh, 10th round was unbelievable. Unbelievable. It was 2 minutes of them slugging it out, and Taylor got caught again and almost went down. Her knee almost touched the floor. I don't know how she wasn't able she was able to stay up, but Amanda really battered her on the 10th round. They both hit each other, and Amanda Taylor got in a couple of good shots, but the powerful punches throughout the whole fight. It was I'm not talking about pity pat, because Taylor did a lot of pity patting and touching, like if we were fighting on an amateur event. These are the pros, guys. What counts is effective punches, hard punches is what counts, not the little pity pat punches. So I had Amanda ahead, 2-3 rounds ahead at the end, and we were talking among. I actually made a bet with a guy, this Irish guy that was sitting in the front. We made a $20 bet, and he looked after that 10th round. He looked at me. He goes, "It's a draw." And I said, "No, no way, man. This is not a draw. I got Amanda winning by 2 or 3 points. There's no way this is a draw." I mean, Taylor was able to withstand Serrano's aggressive punches, and it was able to weather the storm, basically take all those hard punches to the body and the head. I mean, Taylor was bleeding, was cut. You could tell at the end of the 10th round, she was almost out. She was really battered in this fight. Amanda was not. I mean, Taylor did get a few good shots in, but throughout the fight, Amanda was the aggressor, and not only was she the aggressor, she was an effective aggressor, cutting off the ring, going to the body, going upstairs. Taylor had to resort to her boxing and basically survive the brutal attack from Amanda. All right. At the end of the fight, one of the things that I said on my last um, episode, and you guys remember, and if not, here's a clip of that episode. My last episode talking about Taylor and Amanda. Here's a clip. Plan for Amanda Serrano. The plan for Amanda Serrano, and I'm just speculating right now, but if I was her coach, I would tell her, don't let this go to the cards. Don't let this fight go to the cards, because of resume and politics or whatever, they might give it to Katie Taylor. All right, a decision, even if she loses, just like Pursuance. Even if the majority of people think she lost this fight, they might give it to her. So there you go. I had mentioned that in order that if I was Amanda's coach, I would basically instruct Amanda to not let this fight go to the cards, because I had a feeling, and I said it on my last episode. I had a feeling that if it came to the cards, the judges were not going to give it to Amanda Serrano. It's not a big conspiracy, guys. You well know. Usually, the A side is easily giving more benefit of the doubt and giving more of an advantage on the cards. And if a round is a little close, they'll say, "Oh, the champion won," or the A side won, when basically could have been an even round, or it could have gone the other way. There were some swing rounds there, which I scored for Amanda, because she was throwing harder punches all night. All night. I mean, the body to the head. I mean, when you would see Katie connect, it was not a hard punch. It was a soft punch, a jab or a cross, but it wasn't as effective and as hard as Amanda Serrano's punches. So I had it maybe 2 or 3 points ahead, Amanda. There was no way I could see that as a draw. And then the judges gave their decision, and they were basically the three judges were Judge Cavalieri, Judge Rosell, and Judge Feldman. And the scorecards read like this: the first judge, Judge Feldman. The first judge, Judge Ruzel, gave the fight 96-94 Serrano, which is more or less what the way I had it. I maybe had the 10th round, the last round I had it for Serrano, not for Taylor. Look at that round again, guys. Look at that round again. If you want to be fair about this, and there's a lot of people that are, and this is what I always talk about. You get blinded by favoritism. If Amanda, and let's talk about the robbery term here, was Amanda robbed? All right, was Amanda robbed? All right. So based on the scorecards, all right, like I said, Judge Rosell, 96-94 Serrano. And when Amanda was the first one to be called for on the scorecards, when they said Amanda Serrano 96-94, I said, oh, here we go. Here we go. I could see it. I could see it all. I said, oh, they didn't say Taylor, the first one. So I don't know. I had a feeling. And my wife, actually, Julia, she said the same. She goes, here we go. So, again, I had it 97-94 by 3 points. So the next scorecard was Judge Cavalieri. He had it 96-93 for Taylor. All right. He gave Amanda the fifth round. He gave her a 10-8 round. And I can see that in women's boxing, because if it, like I said before, if it would have been a 3-minute round, I have no doubt, and you guys know, I had no doubt that they would have stopped that fight in the fifth round, because Taylor got really, really, really hurt. I mean, she was almost out. All right, on her feet. You could tell her feet, her legs were wobbly. She got hurt like there's no tomorrow. And the crazy thing is that, I'll read the last scorecard in a minute, but I just remember something. One of the comments from one of the guys talking about how effective Taylor was, and we're gonna talk about that in a few minutes. But the last judge, Judge Feldman, called it 97-93 for Taylor, and they said, and the new and still not and the new and still champion of the world, Katie Taylor. I was like shocked. I said, what? 97-93. 97-93. This judge gave Amanda Serrano 3 rounds. 3 rounds. Out of 10, 3 rounds. I mean, that is, in my opinion, guys, that is a robbery. That judge robbed Amanda Serrano of the title. I could see it if he would have scored it 94-94. He would have scored it, a draw, or he would have scored Taylor by 1 or 2 points. But 97-93, that is a robbery in my opinion. Not the whole fight, but the score of this judge is a robbery. This judge should not be. I mean, this is crazy. How can you score a fight where one boxer is continually hurting another one throughout the whole fight? And this wasn't just 4 rounds. Actually, Taylor had got on her bicycle a little bit and started jabbing and moving around. And I'm going to tell you something. Taylor is one hell of a fighter. One hell of a fighter. Hell of a heart. Great boxer, great talent. But in my opinion, guys, she was outlanded. She was hurt more. Amanda was the effective aggressor all night. This fight should have gone for Amanda Serrano, and they took it from this judge, or the judges, or whatever's behind. You want to call it conspiracy theory or whatever. This judge took that great moment in boxing, and made it into now what it is, a controversial decision. And obviously, funny thing is that everybody around me were saying, and these are all Brits and Irish guys around me. I was outnumbered all over the place, and they were saying it's a draw. There's no, I mean, it's a draw. Nobody was saying Katie won. Nobody's saying Katie won until they gave the decision. And we won. And I said, well, how did you score it? I told the guy behind me, how did you score it? He goes, oh, she won. I said, well, tell me, how did you score it? He didn't know. These people didn't know how to score a fight. All right. So a lot of people are going there because they're supporting their country and stuff like that. They don't know anything about boxing. They don't know how to score a fight. None of this stuff. So I was really disappointed. My wife was, Mario, let's go. You're getting a little heated here. Yeah, I was upset, to be honest with you, because I don't believe that fight should have ended in a controversial decision. And I say controversial because it is controversial. Because there's a lot of people out there who believe that, and it's not just a few people, it's a lot of people believe Amanda Serrano won this fight. At least it was a draw. All right. Worst case scenario for Amanda. Worst case would have been a draw, not a loss like this. All right. So now, behind the whole scene, everybody, all the promoters are talking about our next fight and probably Ireland. And if I was Amanda's coach, I would say, no, there's no way you're going to go to Ireland. They robbed you in Madison Square Garden. Imagine what they're going to do in Ireland. They're going to call it 190, even if Amanda, wins the fight. So this reminds me a little bit, and I'm not going to compare it to Gatti Ward. I think it's more of a Marquez Pacquiao type. However, um, you got one boxer and you got one boxer puncher, which is Amanda Serrano. So that's not even a close comparison. We have one fighter that's aggressive, moving forward, going to the body, going to the head with the power, unbelievable power. And the unbelievable thing is that Amanda went up two weight classes. So she's fighting a natural 135 pounder, a big girl like Katie Taylor, and she's hurting her with every punch. I mean, I saw the post fight conference by Katie Taylor, and I saw also Amanda Serrano's post fight conference, and she's very humble. And what I like about Amanda Serrano is she didn't say she was robbed. She didn't say anything. She's a very humble girl, and she's a very decent person. And that's what I like about her so much. She goes, well, it is what it is, Yeah, well, there'll be a next time. Hopefully, I'm still a champion at 126. She's a 7 division champion, but I was if I would have been in that post fight conference, I would have said no. I think she was robbed of the opportunity of this legacy fight by one judge. All right, one judge just saw it completely, and anybody that knows about boxing. And I had one guy, you know who you are, and you said, yeah, she was outclassed by Katie Taylor, outclassed. And he actually scored in 97, 93. You know who I'm talking about. Uh, and I told him, you got to be myopic to believe that Katie Taylor outclassed Amanda Serrano when she almost got knocked out twice and got beat up so bad that in a post-fight conference she was bleeding. She was still bleeding. What's his name? Eddie Hearn had to wipe up. Blood started gushing down her face. Her face like that. She got a battering. She got a battering that she had never been beaten like that by anybody. And I'm going to tell you something, and you're going to see that Katie Taylor, after this fight, is never going to be the same fighter. Never going to be the same. She got hurt really, really bad. Real bad. I'm going to tell you, let's see what happens next. Let's see if she accepts another fight with Amanda Serrano. She might say yes right now. But if I was her, I would walk, you know, into the glory of the moment, and not fight Amanda again. And just say, well, I'm the best ever. I'm the greatest ever woman, like the people are saying now. No, she's not. She is not, because she got beaten big time. And there's a big question mark or an asterisk, in my opinion, in my book, next to Katie Taylor's win. I do not agree with it. And there's a lot of people who do not agree with it. I think she was robbed of that opportunity. A lot of people are gonna, they're not gonna agree with my opinion. But look at the fight again. Look at the fight again. If you're actually a person that knows a little bit about boxing, not just a fanatic like I call, if Katie Taylor would have really won this fight, I would have accepted it, guys. Like, I've accepted a whole bunch of other fights before. Hey, I called Shakur Stevenson. I called, not in this program, but I told people, hey, Shakur Stevenson is going to blow out Oscar Valdez. And people say, no, you're crazy, Mexican style. And I said, well, this guy's way too much. Oscar Valdez is tailor made for Shakur Stevenson. And I was correct. I called the fight with Pitbull Cruz. I was correct. This one, I said it. And you saw the clip right now on my previous. Amanda Serrano has to knock out Katie Taylor, or they're going to give the fight. The judges are going to give the fight to Katie Taylor. Why? Just think about it. It's money. She's the A side. She's the golden girl, the promoter's girl, all that other stuff. I am not taking anything away from Katie Taylor. I think Katie Taylor is one hell of a fighter, but she didn't win this fight. And the people that were sitting next to me, those British fans that came all the way from United Kingdom, it was a couple, and they were on their honeymoon. She looked at us. She goes, Katie Taylor didn't win this fight. No way did she win this fight. And these are Katie Taylor's fans. And they were right there next to us. And everybody around us knew it. And they mentioned, oh, it's a draw, it's a draw, it's a draw. The guy I bet the money didn't want to take the $20 from me. I said, here you go. He goes, no, 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 no. 97, 93. He goes, and this is funny because before the fight, he goes, we got to watch out with the judges. And I said, yes, definitely, we got to watch out with the judges score. And he was right, and I was right, and that's the way the cookie crumbles, how people say, In boxing, there's a lot of corruption. In boxing, the good people get gypped out of victory. Teddy Atlas made a comment on Twitter, and Teddy Atlas, sometimes he's right, and sometimes he's like way off. He goes, well, usually these kind of fights have a controversy or something like that. Words to that effect. This time they got it right. Got it right. 97, 93, Teddy, please. Are you kidding me, Teddy? You gave Amanda Serrano 3 rounds in the whole fight. And you can tell there's bias there. There's bias. Obviously, there is bias. But anyway, guys, after the fight, we went back to we were staying in Queens, close at the Hilton, close to JFK Airport, and we called it the night. And then next day we flew back here, and I was still, a little bit. I'm still a little bit upset, to be honest with you. But after I saw Amanda's reaction and her team's reaction to all of this, they have accepted the judge's decision. I don't think they agree with it. They're not saying anything because they're humble people. I mean, at least Amanda Serrano is very humble. She's a typical Puerto Rican, all guts fighter. And she showed what Cria Boricua, which I had mentioned many times, Cria Boricua, that Puerto Rican heart, that relentless spirit, and how humble she is, man. I mean, they raised this girl right. And Katie, I can't say much about Katie. I mean, she is one hell of a fighter. She's a tough cookie. She can take punishment. But again, after Saturday's fight, Katie Taylor is going to be really thinking. I mean, the money's got to be maybe 8 figures. Jake Paul was talking 8 figures, but it's got to be up there, guys, in order for her to take another fight with Amanda Serrano. I think she would walk into the sunshine and say, hey, that's it. I did what I wanted to do. She actually mentioned that this was greater than her Olympic medal, this victory. And that's what I would do. Walk into the sunshine, walk into the sunrise, whatever you guys call it. Walk into the glory and say, and hang them up and say that's it. But again, if I was Amanda's coach, if I was Amanda's manager, I would not take a fight in Ireland against this woman. First of all, it's not the same. It's only going to be one sided. Do it again in Madison Square Garden. Do it again there. That way you'll have that same ambience. You'll have the Irish crowd, you have the Puerto Rican crowd, you have everybody into it. I think that's the way it should be. Hopefully, that's the way it is. Eddie Hearn is trying to push it the other way, saying that before Katie retires, he wants to do something in Ireland. And I don't know if Amanda would take that. I wouldn't take it, that fight. I mean, all the odds are against you. They ripped you off in Madison Square Garden um, with the 97, 93, and that's what I'm talking about, guys. Don't think I'm calling it a total robbery. A total robbery. I believe uh, it was totally a total unfair scorecard by Judge Feldman. 97, 93. There's no way. But anyway, guys, I just got back. I trained somebody early this morning. I got to train more people later on today. Remember, if you're ever down here in Miami, come and visit us, Warriors Fry Boxing Academy in Kendall area. We've been training people there for about 10 years. Come and visit, say hi to us. Again, like and subscribe. I've been answering as many comments from you guys as I can. And I saw a couple of comments there that had the same prediction about eighth round knockout, or at least eighth round knockout um, against Katie Taylor, Serrano knocking out Katie Taylor. And we almost got it right. I mean, almost. All right, guys. But anyway, love you all. God bless you all. Remember to like and subscribe. Come back again. There's another fight coming up real soon, which is a Canelo Alvarez and Bivol fight. I'm looking forward to that one, and we'll got to make more comments about that particular fight in our next episode of Inside the Ropes with Coach Mario. All right. Have a blessed day and peace.